Hey guys, in today's video I thought it would be fun to do a story time series. I think it's fun, like whenever I see channels where they'll share stories of things that they've been through, I just always find those interesting and kind of fun. So I wanted to do my own, and today I wanted to talk about why my experience with donating blood and why I no longer do it. Obviously I have nothing against donating blood, it's just that I personally can't do it. But I do believe that it is a good thing, and if I could, I would absolutely be donating blood on a regular basis. Okay, so I have 2 times that I have donated blood, and these are the reasons why I no longer do it. The first one takes place shortly after I turned the age of 18, which I believe that's the youngest that you can donate blood. So as soon as I turned 18, my family was real big into donating blood and making that a thing, so my parents encouraged me to start donating blood, and our church was hosting a blood drive at the time. So I went with my parents, and my dad had been donating blood for who knows how long, so he was familiar with, how the whole thing went, and he described it to me and whatnot. So we ran by McDonald's, and this was definitely when I still ate McDonald's. That's not a thing anymore. But we went by McDonald's, and I think I remember getting like some sort of chicken sandwich. That used to be like one of my favorite things, were those breaded chicken sandwich things. So I remember him saying, like, you don't want to get too lightheaded, so you want to make sure you eat before, and then like have juice or something sugary afterwards. Like sometimes they'll hand out donuts or cookies or whatever after the fact. So we go, and they like ask you questions, and I think I remember getting my finger pricked, and they like, I don't know what they do with that. It's been a really long time. But I remember they like prick your finger and see something with your with a little blood sample. And they get you all set up, and I'm not really afraid of needles, so it wasn't that big of a deal for me. I know some people it's a much bigger deal doing things like this because of the whole needle thing. They get me all set up, they put the IV in, or needle, or whatever you want to call it, and they give you one of those little squeezy things so it gets your blood pumping, and so it goes into the bag faster. And I'm like stressed because even though I'm not afraid of needles, it's still like kind of like a, I don't know, kind of a squeamish, weird sensation for you to be pumping your own blood out of your body. So I remember like my palms were kind of sweating as I'm like continuously squeezing the little thing, and I'm like kind of like getting nervous because obviously it's my first time, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, is this almost over? And then I'm like looking at the bag and seeing how full it's getting, and I'm just like kind of freaking out a little bit. And finally it was all done, and they're like, okay, just be careful getting up, you can go get your treats now, and you're good to go, but just be careful because sometimes people can get woozy and fall down after they give blood. So I'm like very careful. I like sit up slowly, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm okay. And I like get up, and that was the last thing I knew. I actually passed out. Like, it's not like I just fell. Like, I actually remember like, and I actually like flat out passed out. One of the few times I've actually went unconscious. And they like a bunch of people rush over to me, and they're like, oh my goodness, what the heck happened? And so they helped me up, and they put me on like a bed of some sort. It wasn't a gurney, but it was like some sort of cot, I think. And they're like, oh, this'll help. And for some reason they put ice on the back of my neck and then ice on the front of my neck, and I can't remember what the purpose of that was, but I'm like, okay, I don't feel well, I'm freezing now because you have ice all around my neck. So if any of you know what the purpose of the ice is, let me know in the comments, because I don't remember why they put ice on my neck. But I just remember shivering and like sitting there and just being like and I just did not feel well at all. And it took a while for me to kind of like recover and be able to leave with my parents. And I was just like, it took me, like, I remember the entire day, the entire rest of the day, because I think we did that early in the morning. It took me forever to recover from it. Like, it was really hard for me to move around. I was just super dizzy and just did not feel well at all. So that was experience number one. And I wasn't too anxious after that experience to try it again, but I did want to give it another shot and see if maybe it was just a fluke, maybe I didn't eat enough before, I don't know. Just wanted to try it again just to see, because again, I do believe that it is a really good thing to donate blood. So experience number two, I was with my boyfriend at the time, so I remember he was afraid of needles, so he wouldn't join me to donate blood, but he offered to give me a ride to and from the blood bank. And this time I actually did it at an actual blood bank instead of a drive hosted by some company or place. I kind of I had the gist of how this went down, and they get me all set up, and the nurse was fairly nice. She puts in the IV pretty smoothly. I don't remember it really hurting or noticing that at all. So I'm back, I'm sitting on one of those bed things that they have, and they give me one of those squeezy things, and I'm sitting there squeezing, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it this time, it'll be fine. And again, I'm looking at the blood, I'm still just like, oh, it's so gross, like watching the blood go into the bag. So that wasn't very fun. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, and I feel myself kind of feeling a little bit dizzy, but I'm like, no, it's okay, it's normal. But I'm not gonna pass out this time, it'll be fine. So then they finish up, take the needle out of my arm, put a little band-aid on and whatnot, and they're like, okay, you can go over and get, I think it was like donuts and juice. And they had an actual little counter, and there was this cute little old lady handing out the juice. She was probably like a volunteer. So I'm walking, and I'm trying to walk really slowly because I can feel that I'm not feeling really great. So I'm like, okay, I'm like, you know, taking it easy, I'm walking slow, and I get up to the counter, and she's like, oh, what can I get you? And right as I'm about to say what donut I want, the last thing I remember is going like this, and all of a sudden I see the old lady. She's like, and I see her run over and press a button, because the last thing I remember was seeing her face shocked. And again, totally passed out again. Yeah, so that was really fun. The next thing I know, I'm in a bed, and there's this lady, really nice lady, kind of like trying to get me to wake up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what happened? She's like, oh, you passed out. Some people do. And I remember my head hurting. It's like I don't remember the pain of actually falling, but after the fact I was like, yep, that hurts. And the nice nurse lady was giving me like a juice box and helping me sip, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I do not feel good. I was like really dizzy and kind of nauseous and woozy, just all those things. And she was kind of helping me like sit up slowly, and she's like, we want to make sure you're okay. And then I think my boyfriend showed up right around that time, and so he helped me out to the car because they want to make sure you're good before you leave. But those were my two experiences of donating blood, and they're quite hilarious looking back on them now. But that I probably gave that old lady a heart attack. I felt kind of bad, but she was very nice, and all the people that were helping me were very nice. But I got my I donated blood t-shirt. So yeah, come to find out later down the road, I do have low blood sugar, and I have low iron, and those are not a good combination with donating blood. So sadly, I no longer donate blood. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give this video a like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.